Hey Sunrise, it's Andrew here with your small group questions for this week as we kick off our new series talking about gospel culture. So as we open up this series, the first question I have for you is when you hear the word gospel, what do you think of? What does it mean to experience the gospel? So I want you to unpack that for a little bit, and then from there you have the word culture. What does the word culture mean? What images come to your mind? And then as you put those two things together, what then is a gospel culture? This is what we're going to be talking about over the next 4 weeks on Sunday mornings and unpacking throughout our different small group times is this idea of a true gospel culture, taking the gospel from our heads to our hearts, living it out well. And so as you put these things together, we have a couple things to think about. What does a true gospel culture then look like to you? How would you back some of that up in Scripture itself? How does Scripture teach us these ideas of a gospel culture? And then, as well as you think about it specifically, we're going to unpack a little bit in the book of Galatians this week and in some of the weeks to come, different aspects of this lived out faith. So when you hear the word gospel culture, how is it more than a simple doctrinal assent? How is it not enough to simply know truth, that truth is lived? And how do these things go together? And in what ways does this further our love for one another, building on a gospel culture? And then lastly, just as we open up our series, we're looking briefly here at Galatians 2:11 through 15, and this is Paul confronting Peter as he turns away from the Gentile believers, leaning towards the Judaizers who are saying that they need to reinforce the law in the lives of these Gentiles. They must be circumcised. They must take on the full weight of the law in order to be saved. And we have Paul who comes to Peter and rebukes him for this and says that he is now living out of step with the gospel. So as you hear this text, what way is Peter living out of step with the gospel? What is the role Paul is playing in this moment confronting Peter? How can that be done well? How can that be done wrongly? And so as we kind of unpack this, how is this showing us a life lived around the gospel for the purpose of making Christ known and glorified in our gospel community so that it shapes the world around us as we proclaim this good news to others? Hope that you spend some time in the text hearing the word proclaimed, and again in our small groups as we unpack these wonderful truths of the gospel of Jesus Christ that leads us to the Father through the work of the Spirit together. Can't wait to worship with you guys on Sunday. See you soon.